Hello, everybody. My name is Randy Rolfe, and I'm an independent consultant with the Nikken company, and this is a showcase to introduce you to Nikken technologies. It's not official from the company, but a group of us from the field of consultants sharing our passion for the technologies that Nikken has introduced to the world. It's quite exciting, and we do in 30 minutes, and I'm going to do a slide presentation first and then have one of our guests share their story. So I'm sharing my screen now. And Nikken is all about active wellness. That is the idea that we become more active in our own wellness program. There's so much we can do with self-care. And the basis of our technologies is the Nikken Wellness Home, where we really create the right environment to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. And what we find is that the compounding effect of our daily choices adds up to whether we have good health, good relationships, even happiness, success, and even income. Because if your health is suffering and you don't feel good, of course you're not going to do as well on the job, you're not going to do as well with your family, keeping a positive attitude or preventing mood swings and that kind of thing. And it's the small choices consistently over time that make a radical difference. We can decide, maybe a lot of people in January decided they're going to lose weight, but by February they're off it because they've made one big decision but not changed their daily habits. So what we find, Nikken makes it easy to create the right environment for us to make those good daily choices. And I started out as a lawyer and moved on to family counseling because I found that most problems were because people just didn't feel good and their relationships hurt. And so educating families on good lifestyle and good nutrition became my focus. And it was all about those daily decisions. So this is so true. The health situation that Nikken operates on is worse than when I started Nikken many years ago. Our body burden is increasing every year because we have thousands of new man-made chemicals introduced into our natural environment. We get it from water, air, clothing, sleep, bedding, and carpets and furniture and skincare and food. All are introducing toxins to the body, and it's a huge toxic burden which our detoxifying organs get overwhelmed: the kidneys, the liver, the skin, the lungs, the digestive system. And we know that those physical stresses, we also have the mental stresses which have increased even more since the big recession. And we know that stress is a huge contributor to all the major causes of premature death and lower quality of life, including heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke, fatigue, allergies, sleep problems, weight problems, and mood problems, anxiety, depression, and so on. Sleep is a huge problem. One poor night's sleep drops your immune system by 60%, and over half of Americans say they have some sleep issues, trouble getting to sleep, trouble getting up and having any energy, and waking during the night and not being able to go back to sleep, and just feeling draggy all day. And then outdoor and indoor air pollution are huge contributors, and we know now that in many areas in North America, the indoor air is actually worse than the outdoor air because we're concentrating those chemicals in our homes. And of course, we've heard so much about water pollution. My daughter is a hydrogeologist, and she says that the water tables are being contaminated, and it takes thousands and thousands of years to change that. And then the water purification systems add chlorine to our water to kill any acute pathogens, but then we have the chlorinated compounds that are toxic to our bodies. And also the filtration systems that we use don't take out a lot of the chemicals, including agricultural runoff and medications from upstream and endocrine disruptors of various kinds that can wreak havoc with our metabolisms and our hormones. So the health facts are very disturbing and getting worse. So we really need to pay attention to our own environment. Of course, the children are the ones that suffer the most, being called the new childhood, where they're exposed from birth. Newborns today can have up to 200 chemicals already running in their systems. We know obesity rates are a third in adults and children. 1 out of every 5 adolescents is obese. And we know it's because of lack of good nutrition. They're not getting enough vegetables, and almost a third of high school children aren't getting the recommended amount of activity. And low-income families have, of course, worse in every category: less healthy foods, more stress, and it's abominable that our children are in such bad shape in the richest, supposedly healthiest country in the world. We certainly have the most effective medical system for acute conditions, but we're not able to get rid of chronic conditions that are due to lifestyle choices. What is the answer? It's taking personal responsibility through self-care. What we say, be healthy by choice, not by chance. And so we invite you to choose active wellness, which is a process where we become aware of and make choices towards a more successful existence based on good, solid scientific information. So Nikken's approach started in 1975 in Japan, the healthiest country in the world. And there they spend 90% of their healthcare dollar on prevention, where in America, we spend 90% of our health care dollar trying to fix people up after they're broken. Nikken started with this amazing philosophy, the balanced 5 pillars of health: healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And if you think about it, if any one of these is weak, all the others suffer. And if you ask people where their stress is coming from, they usually say finances and health problems in their parents or their children or themselves. And of course, finances to meet their monthly needs, and also to work to get from their jobs may not be reliable, and also paying for health care. So any one of these will affect the others. Of course, if your health is suffering, everything suffers. If you hate your job and you don't have time to enjoy your community, that's your society pillar, then other things are affected as well. I fell in love with this idea because when I gave up big firm law practice, I thought I had sacrificed my financial input, but I didn't want to sacrifice my health and my mental attitude and my family time for the big bucks. But with Nikken, they all count, and Nikken works hard to make it possible for us to attain that balance. And the way we do it is through having these unique technologies that are patented, developed by Nikken for better sleep, better energy, better water, better nutrition, and air and light as well in our homes. What we call a Nikken certified wellness home. We basically break our 100 products into 3 categories: nutrition and skincare, environment, and rest and relaxation. And if you're watching the video, I'll start at the right side, which are the signature technologies of Nikken is the magnetic technologies, which restores our body to the natural energy as if we were living outdoors again, like we did our first million or so years. And instead of in concrete boxes surrounded by electric and Wi-Fi and steel, we need to be in the Earth's natural magnetic field for everything to optimize in balance. So Nikken first developed the insoles for the shoes, and in the first 4 years, the late 70s, they became the fastest growing company in the history of Japan and were rewarded by the administration for that. And then they developed a sleep pad, a mattress topper, that envelops you in natural materials, no chemicals added, and it's fire resistant because of the natural materials rather than any chemicals. And then a seat, which I'm sitting on now at my desk, and a mask, which relaxes the sinuses and the eyes, so it's great for recovery, as well as giving you the darkness we all need for a good sound sleep. And a pillow and a comforter that accentuate that magnetic power and make it more effective with all natural material. And then our little favorite piece of the little massage mag duo is in the picture. Environmentally, our top product is the water. We have a carry bottle, so you don't have to despoil the environment throwing out chemically developed bottles. This is a completely biodegradable bottle, and you reuse it for up to 3 or 4 months. And it filters your water and gives you PI-MAG alkalized, mineralized, magnetized water. The unit you see there is our water filler, which sits on the counter in wherever it's even portable, and you just put the tap water in the top and it filters it and energizes it. It tastes wonderful. And then we have a shower filter that does the same thing, because our pores in a shower will absorb all those chlorinated compounds, and this takes them out. And then in nutrition, I studied nutrition. I'm a certified nutritionist, so I could counsel the families I was helping. And Nikken's nutritionals are absolutely at the cutting edge. They're organic-based, whole food-based, designed to support our functions without megadosing anything. They're not designed for treatment or any kind of direct effect, but just supporting the various functions in the body. And then our skincare, likewise, is as organic as can be. It's eco-certified. So it's a very exciting line of products. So what I want to do now is stop the screen share and invite, let's see, was Betty able to join us? Don't see, let's see, what is her number? 316.
Reminder to *6.
Yes, let's see, 316. Okay, if you can hear me, Betty, you need to press *6 on your phone to unmute yourself. I don't have power to do that on my screen.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, okay, great. Well, thank you for all the technology, fixing that and getting on the phone. This is Betty Jenkins from Kansas, and she accepted our invitation to be our special guest today. And Betty, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit of your background and what caught your attention about Nikken.
Okay, I've been around almost 21 years. In March will be my 21st anniversary, and had it been to me in the beginning, I wouldn't be in Nikken, because my husband, I had no physical challenges per se, and my husband at the time had a lot of physical challenges. And when I heard about magnets, to me it was just something he stuck on the fridge. But he wanted to try it out because he had a lot of problems. So we got into it, and at the time I think they had a package that you could get that had the demo pad and all, and a comforter and a seat cushion and some products. And so we got that, and he slept on that demo pad, and I thought, well, I don't have any sleep issues, but I'll try. So I slept on the seat cushion for a while and used the pillow. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, I noticed that when I got up to go to work, I was a lot more awake and ready to get up and go. So over the years, I can't say that I've had any real physical challenges. I have, issues, and they've just come and gone. And I have to say it, this time, as Nikken progressed, I've updated the products, and then when he left, I took over the business and started working it as a business. So there's not a whole lot of story to tell. I guess it's, you never know what you prevented, because in all these years, I have no prescriptions from the doctor. I very seldom ever get sick, don't even get a cold. So I have to say that these products have kept me healthy, or I feel like they've kept me healthy.
That's very cool, Betty. We so often have people who have dramatic issues, and the Nikken products really help them recover. We don't treat or diagnose or prognose anybody, but it's all about self-help. And I love hearing from someone who uses all the products because they want to keep their health and improve their basic disease resistance. I've gotten fewer colds and don't catch the flu. I think I've had 2 colds since I started Nikken 20 years ago, and grandchildren now, so we're a little more exposed than usual than we used to be, but still, we're very seldom lose a day of not feeling great. And that's the first thing I noticed was when I got up in the morning, I didn't feel like, how do I get myself moving? I just jumped out of bed, went swimming, and, just didn't ever get tired again. And it's such a beautiful thing to know that, if you have no complaints, you can stay that way. And
that's right.
Particularly for young people, some of them will say, oh, well, I'm 22, I don't have any problems, but, do they want to stay that way? And
they don't think about that then.
Right. We have to kind of remind them, like, well, I'm 70 and I still feel like I'm 22. So how about you? So now that your husband did benefit, and do you have children or other people in your family that you've been able to introduce Nikken to?
Well, when I started, my children all kind of poo-pooed it, and now as they've gotten up into their almost retirement years, they've got more aches and discomforts than I have, so now they're coming around to seeing and using, most of them use the product now. Well, all 3 of them use the products, working on grandkids. Very
cool. Yes. Yeah. Both my grandkids sleep on the sleep system, and they've never known anything else. So, but I know that it's helping them.
That's right.
Definitely.
The only place I find a hindrance is when you're talking to someone about if you've never had any real things to overcome, it's kind of hard to explain how important they are to other people.
Yes, well, that's one of the reasons we do this, where they can hear stories from people, and also it's all about just getting them to try it. And many of us loan a few products just so people can see that even if they feel great, they can feel better. You just don't know how good you can feel. Like you said, waking up with more energy, or just not getting so tired in the middle of the afternoon. Those kinds of things. And just knowing that you're helping your body function better so that maybe you'll feel better when you're in your 70s or 80s.
That's right. And that when I tell them, well, look at me, I'm 84 and I'm going strong and working part-time, and then it kind of opens their eyes.
Yes, yes. Most Nikken people that are over 60 don't look their age at all. And I'm sorry,
No, they don't.
people can't see you, because when we saw you last week, you sure didn't look 84. And
Well,
and since your computer just conked out
well, I'll be back
the
on. Back on as soon as I take it down and get to the doctor and get fixed.
right, it doesn't have Nikken to keep it going. Yeah, so true. Do you have any favorite stories of folks you've helped since you started sharing it more actively with others?
Well, let's see. Right off, my oldest daughter has had a bout with breast cancer here not long ago.
Oh,
And well, actually, what got her started was she went to the dentist and some of her teeth were getting loose. And so we got her on the osteodents, and they had quoted her about $7,000 to get her teeth fixed. And we got her on the osteodents, and when she went back, her teeth were tightening up, so she didn't have to have that dental work done.
oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
Which was quite a blessing on there. And there's right off, I'm so frustrated with my computer, I can't think of the other stories.
Well, I
there.
know with my father-in-law went through chemotherapy for melanoma had metastasized, and he was able to minimize the side effects using the Nikken products. He didn't get the chills, and he didn't lose his appetite, and he kept his hair even. And the doctors were really amazed that he was able to actually finish the course of treatment, and he lived another 15 years. So he kind of surprised his doctors, but it was because he was doing his own self-help, self-care to support his body while the doctors were doing what they needed to do. So it really works together.
Well, she's found that those chemo drugs cause the bones to deteriorate. And she's found hers have been able to stay stable, with the using the osteodents and the products, that they haven't lost she doesn't have the osteoporosis, so they're not deteriorating.
That's wonderful. That's one of our proprietary products, the osteodens, and we have so many wonderful stories about helping people with the keeping their bones healthy. And the bones are the mineral bank for the body, and they're supposed to, balance all the use of minerals around our body. But as we age, we have less of the transportation molecules that make that work, and so the osteodens replenishes those. So it's many older people and even younger people. A lot of the athletes find that the stresses they put on their bodies are very hard on the bone structure, because they're creating so many acids, and then the calcium's pulled out of the bones to neutralize the acids. And with the Olympics going on, we're seeing a lot of young athletes that are stressing their bodies to the nth degree. So we know a lot of Olympians use Nikken products to try to minimize the strain and stress on their systems.
Yeah, and I was diagnosed, I think, before osteodents came out, with osteopenia, which is not there anymore. So
awesome.
That's awesome, I think.
Yes, I love hearing about that. Very cool. Any last words you'd like to share with someone who's hearing about Nikken for the first time in watching this video?
Well, I would say don't be like I was in the very beginning and not even willing to look at it, but be open and be willing to try something. Be willing to, because you never know what you'll miss if you don't try it.
Yeah, that's great advice. There's absolutely no harm in it. It's based on natural energy, natural food, and it's an investment in your health.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Betty Jenkins from Kansas, for sharing your stories. And I'm going to share a couple more slides.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's begin your new success story with active wellness and living a life in balance with Nikken Technologies. We encourage you to become a customer. It's very simple. Go to the consultant who introduced you to Nikken, and they can set you up. It's free to get your own website. You can order anytime. You can put your nutritionals on a monthly schedule so that you get a discount. And then if you choose to share the products, Nikken has a very generous compensation plan, and we'll be sharing more about that in the future. And you can become a part-time entrepreneur and share with your friends and family, or even a full-time entrepreneur and really get true financial freedom, because it's really fun to share these technologies with people. You can't hurt them. And my father was a physician. He said, first do no harm. You can't hurt them, and you can only make them feel better. So we do encourage you to check Nikken out. So thank you for joining us today, and I'm going to stop the recording now. This will be on my Facebook page, and some of our recordings are on theroyalalliance.com. And if you Google Nikken, you'll find all kinds of wonderful descriptions of the different uses for the technologies and how the business works.